Hello everyone and welcome to CoSy 2021. My planned contribution for this event was to recreate a painting that I love called The Chocolate Girl by Jean-Étienne Liotard. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I chose this painting both because I love it as a work of art and because I thought it would be something that would be within my skill level to recreate. Now, unfortunately, I've been dealing with some health issues recently, and so I haven't been able to actually finish that project. You can see behind me the unfinished jacket that I'm making for it. So instead of having the whole start to finish process in a video ready for CoSy, what I'm going to do is take you through the process of analyzing the artwork to determine what pieces I need to make, how I'm going to, stick with the painting, and how what I'm going to do may differ from it, how accurate I want to be, all that kind of stuff, and kind of take you through like that creative planning process and the first step towards recreating this artwork. And then be on the lookout in the next upcoming weeks for the videos where I will go through and create all the pieces necessary and then finally actually take the picture to recreate the artwork. So this artwork actually has a listing on Google Arts and Culture. And if we come in here, we can see, information about the artwork. It's called The Chocolate Girl by Jean-Étienne Liotard, and it was painted around 1744 to 1745. It has some information about the artwork, that it's a pastel painting, and basically what one of the artist's contemporaries thought about the artwork, remarking on its graduations of light and that it mimics the taste of the Chinese, according to this Count Francesco Algarotti. It gives details about the artwork, like, the physical dimensions, and then links to the museum that houses it. So you can go in and look at that in more detail. But what I like about this is that we can easily zoom in so that we can get a really detailed look at the artwork. If we look at this kind of starting from the top and going down, we can see that she is wearing a cap of some kind. If you are into 18th century stuff at all, you know that caps are really common during this time period, but the cap here is actually somewhat interesting, especially for the subject of this artwork, because she's a maid bringing a chocolate drink to her mistress, right? And this cap looks to be a little bit fancy for what a maid would wear. It's mostly pink, maybe like a pink silk, maybe, just from the way that it's kind of like shimmering in the light a little bit. And then it's got this lace trimmed along the front edge here, and then also on the lappet kind of areas, if that's the right terminology. As well as it looks like it has like a strip that runs down the center on the top as well. And then it's decorated with like a pale blue ribbon that wraps. Looks like it's fairly flat in the seam here, with most of the gathers being done right at the nape of the neck. The next thing that I notice is her handkerchief here. Again, this is a wonderful, example of something that would have been commonly worn in the 18th century. It's one that has this wonderful pattern woven into it. Next, looks like she is wearing a jacket in this kind of really beautiful, wonderful, like gold, yellow gold color. This was painted in 1744, 1745, and you can kind of see the typical jacket stylings for that era with the wide cuffs that she's got on it. And then it looks like, based on what we can see from the skirt of it, that it's a skirt that's one of like the peplum style, where it's longer at the back and then tapering up to be shorter on the sides. And because of her apron, we can't really see what it looks like in the front very well. We can see though, I don't know if this is, it almost looks to me like up on the neckline as if it's folded towards the outside, like folded back on itself towards the outside. I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen a jacket that's constructed like that, so I don't know exactly what that area here is intended to be. And then you can also see, like, in between her kerchief and the top of the jacket here, what almost looks to be like gold lace. It's either like gold lace that's part of the jacket, or it could be like the top of her stays, almost as if there's blue stays with maybe some like gold decoration on top of them, because you can also kind of see a little bit of blue here, which I don't know if that would be more of those stays like peeking out. So kind of difficult to tell exactly what's going on there. Then looking over at what she's carrying, I've done a little bit of research about this particular type of cup that she has on her tray. So the artwork is called The Chocolate Girl. She's presumed to be a maid carrying a chocolate drink to her mistress, and this apparently is like a special type of cup that they would serve this chocolate drink in. And then she's got her water glass on the tray here as well. We can see that she has her chemise underneath, with this sleeve kind of poking out past the end of her jacket here. And then we can see also her apron. So it looks like she has an apron tied on about the waist, and it's the bib front style with like a little rectangular piece that comes up onto the torso and then would have just been pinned in place at the top corners. So going down, we can see you know, how far down her apron goes. Looks like it goes all the way to the end of the skirt. And her skirt here, or her petticoat, is this kind of really wonderful like steely blue color. Again, kind of difficult to tell what type of fabric all of these things are made out of. This blue petticoat looks very kind of like shimmery and shiny almost, so I almost want to say that it looks like it could be silk. Although again, hard to say. And then finally, we can see the edge of her shoe peeking out here. And it looks kind of like a pale yellowy gold color with some sort of decoration going across the top of it. You can kind of see like this scroll work here. So again, kind of quite a little bit of a fancy shoe, I would think, for someone who's supposed to be a maid. For each one of these things, I think I'm gonna kind of try and strike a balance between what we see in the artwork here and what is doable for me. So, you know, if you have the goal of recreating an artwork, I would say that there's lots of different ways that you can do that. You could go and kind of take it at the most extreme and try to do things the most accurate as you possibly can. And you could, you know, go and do a lot of really intensive research about the exact time period, the location that this was painted, you know, looking into what someone of her social class maybe would have worn, you know, doing really a lot of research into the textiles that would have been used and construction methods and all of that, and really go at it from a historically accurate perspective. That's not the tack that I'm going to take on this. For me, the goal is just to have it serve more as creative inspiration. I'm going to start with the petticoat, because I already have a petticoat that I have made out of silk taffeta that is a very similar color. It's maybe a little bit more blue than this one, but I think it's close enough that it will work. So I'm going to use the petticoat that I have already made. Then next I am going to make the jacket. I may make some small modifications to the style. I think I'm going to use the Amalia jacket pattern by Scroop Patterns to do this, because I have never made a jacket before, and then I may need to add the cuffs to that jacket pattern to make it a little bit more accurate to this portrait here. My chemise does not have sleeves that are this long, so it does not have sleeves that will poke through. I could make an entirely new chemise so that I could get this detail correct, but that kind of seems like overkill to me, so I just won't have this chemise kind of poking through. As far as the apron is concerned, I really like this style of apron with the little bib front coming up at the top, and so and I actually have already made the apron for this one as well, kind of following this general style. The kerchief I'm definitely going to include, but it doesn't really particularly interest me to make my own, and so I think I am going to purchase one from Burnley and Trowbridge. And I'm not sure if they have one made out of material that has this sort of woven pattern on it. So if they do, then I will get one that has it, and if they don't, then I will probably just do a plain white one. Now, the cap. The cap is something that actually really intimidates me. I've never made a cap before, and for some reason, something about like the shape of getting it to fit the head and get the gathers correct is very intimidating to me. I am definitely not going to make a pink one to start with. I may make a regular white one, probably using like the Burnley and Trowbridge pattern, and if that goes well, then maybe I will get some pink taffeta and try and modify the pattern to be more in this shape, get the blue ribbon and get some lace to put on it as well. And then as far as the tray with the chocolate that she's holding, I'm just going to use a regular teacup, regular glass of water, and just, you know, find a tray. I don't know, I might have one lying around the house that I can use. So I'm not going to try and be super accurate as far as what she's holding there. Oh, and then the shoes. The shoes also, I really love the shoes that she's wearing. I think they are adorable. But again, I think it's a little too much to try and be accurate with these, especially for how little they show in this painting. So I think I'm just going to use my I have a pair of green ones that that I bought from American Duchess that I'll use. So they'll be correct to the time period, but they won't match this lovely yellow decorated pear that she is wearing here. So that is it. I am really looking forward to finishing this project. You know, unfortunately I wasn't able to do that before CoSy, but you know, keep an eye out. I'll be putting out videos on you know, how I made the choices that I made, and making the jacket, and you know, making the cap and all of that, and then finally end up with the finished product to match this painting.